Hello and welcome back to the Dandelion Diaries. Today I'm going to be doing my June monthly spread in my Common Planner, and I did end up putting this in a leather cover. I'm starting to have issues with the binding kind of sliding a little bit, so I took it out of the clear cover to see if this may help remedy that. But this is a Galen leather undyed A5 slim cover, and I do have a 5% off for them in the description below. But for the month of June, I basically just want to continue with the no sticker kind of thing that I've been doing in the Common Planner. I've really been enjoying just kind of freehanding things and using stamps and not using anything that adds any kind of bulk whatsoever. Like, it's literally just my hands and markers. Anyways, this is the June section. Since this is an undated planner, I did go ahead and kind of lay out in general where some important dates are. Obviously, we're going to be dating June, so it doesn't just look like a blank page. And I am going to be using the stamps that I used in the setup video, which if you haven't seen, I will link it up in the cards. These little sticky notes are the 𝗦𝘂𝗽 sticky notes. I got these from Stationery Pal. They're pretty cheap. You can use any sticky note. You can write things in pencil, really whatever you want. I do have a larger sticky note here, which has a basic list of all of the reoccurring things that I put on every single month, and then the zodiac dates, because I do like to keep track of the zodiac signs and when things kind of shift astrologically, just because it's something I'm really interested in. But let's go ahead and get started. I am going to use a notebook underneath the front here because the book is still pretty much in the beginning, since I've only had this for a month, and it is harder to write on a book that slants down, so I'm just going to put this under it to help it rest. But I'm going to start with dating the number. And the ink I'm using is Versa Magic Midnight Black. It's your standard black ink, and this is a chalk ink, so it doesn't bleed through on the Tomoe River paper. The next stamp I'm going to use is the monthly stamp. These are the abbreviated ones in the set. I definitely like the abbreviated ones for the monthly section, and then if I wanted to do like a full page, I would use the full size. And then I'm just going to take a fine liner and write 2023 underneath this, because since this is an undated planner, I would have no idea of knowing what year it is unless I write it on the page. For the rest of these stamps, it's going to be the weekly headers that'll go at the top, and these are the full name weekdays. So this is Monday through Sunday, and then it also has working day in the set, but I'm only going to be using Monday through Sunday. That is pretty much the extent of the stamping. Everything else I will be doing is with pens, and I will zoom you guys in and we will go about it that way. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically write all of the numbers of the month, and this is going to be done in a Write-Tech fine liner. This is the 01, which to me means 1 millimeter, or maybe like 1/10 of a millimeter. I think it's 1/10 of a millimeter. but May ended on the 31st on a Wednesday, so the 1st is going to be on this Thursday. And I'm going to go ahead and take up 4 squares just because I think it looks a little bit nicer than the 1 square in the top corner. I did that for April and I think it just looked a little too small and it didn't stand out enough the way I wanted it to. And I misnumbered, which is okay. I don't mind writing back over my letters. Since this is white tome away over paper, you could just take white out and white it out and write over it, but I'm really not that picky. This is just kind of a fun planner for me that I'm testing out to see how I feel about going into one of these for next year. And there are 30 days in June, so we will be stopping right there. The next thing I'm going to be doing is basically lettering in all of the holidays, and to do that I use a combination of the Tombow Funosuke brush pens in either the soft tip or the hard tip, depending on how long the name of the holiday is. Most of them are pretty small, so I will be using the soft tip. So after I have done all of the major holidays, this is when I usually pick a color to be my monthly reoccurring charges or my birthdays or whatever. So I went with more of a, I'm going to say cornflower color scheme, because I have like a blue, a light purple, and then a yellow. And these are the Ritech Sign Brush Pens, and these are the Zebra mild liners. They kind of go together, but they're not all the same color, which is what I was looking for. And I'm basically just going to highlight all the places that the bills go and then highlight where the birthday goes. Also, I realized I forgot to cross my T. So once I have them highlighted, I go back in with that fine liner and I basically write in pen, you know, what the bill is or whose birthday it is. So the last main bold thing that I like to plan out for the monthly spread is the full moon, and I like to call the full moon by whatever name the moon is called from like the Native American days. So this moon is currently the strawberry moon, which will be reaching its peak on June 3rd, and I'm going to do this in the yellow color. And we'll just add in some nice little doodles just to embellish it a little bit. Again, since I don't use stickers in this, I'm just freehanding what I like and how I think it should look based on my preference. Alrighty. So after I have basically done the monthly spread, I then go down at the bottom and I go ahead and put in my zodiac, much similar to this. So I will draw the symbol of the zodiac sign, write the zodiac name, and then the time frame in which that zodiac will be in effect, if that makes sense. And to draw these symbols, I use the 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗏 hard tip. And then to help it match, I will use that same brush pen to write out the names of the zodiacs. Alright, so after that, I'm going to go ahead and put the June somewhere. Actually, I'm going to highlight the top first. Just because I think it looks really nice. So in pencil, I will go ahead and sketch out where I want the June heading to be. And I'm going to put it up here at the top this time. I've done it at the bottom and then on the side. So we're just going to change it up and do it on the top this time. And then after I have sketched out what I generally want it to look like, I go back in with that fine liner and I just outline it to make it more solid. And then I'm going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to do my sidebar. So usually in the sidebar, I like to have a monthly task list, a section for highlights, which I can't seem to spell highlights, and then I like to have a section where I track my weight by week. So starting with the monthly task list. And then I'll go ahead and just make a little section somewhere around here. Looks good for the highlights. And this is where I just use the same markers that I've been using and I create 3 little sections here just because I like to have at least 3 moments in the month that I can reflect on and look back at and open to the page and be like, wow, those are the 3 coolest things that happened, or the 3 best things, or whatever it would have been. And then the last section is the weight by week, and I will just write out, oh, that's what I forgot to put on here actually. Good catch. So I write the week number also in the little square right here. And I try to stack them on top of each other so that way it doesn't go outside the square as much and it's just teeny tiny for reference. And I think I had week 22, yeah, so I had week 22 on May, so I'm going to start with week 23 for June. So this should be pretty much dry now, so I'll run my fingers over it just to be safe, and it is completely dry. And then I'm just going to take a standard eraser, you could use whatever you wanted, and I'm just going to lightly erase the pencil marks from my sketch. You could honestly leave them there if you want to add more character to your pages, but I just like to erase mine because I like the more bold look. And then lastly, for the heading up here, I'm going to fill in the bubbles, but I'm going to be slightly off center. I think it looks really nice when it's slightly off center, adds a little bit more character and depth to the heading, just for fun. It also means you don't have to be perfect in color in the lines. Alrighty. So I will fill in my monthly task list at another time, and then as the days go by, I usually write in a memory or something memorable about each day, just using a ballpoint pen or whatever pen that I'm using. And then if we have any scheduled trips, I will block those out when they start to occur, or if they happen randomly. Just, it depends on how the days fold out. But this is my monthly spread for the month of June in my Common Planner, and I hope you liked it. If you're interested in more content from me, I do have an Instagram. I will leave my handle on the screen, and I do post there almost every single day, and you are always welcome to say hi. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like, and again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.